Before it was, I need this tool. Could you take this person to the hospital? Can I have some water? I need some medicine.
You mean this was before the earthquake?
This was before the earthquake, and now it's, my parents are dead. I need a place to live. It just went from bad to totally worse.
Made in his image, made to be like him. What is I there?
Well, we went down to Haiti January the 4th to help teach a Bible school, a ministry school that we usually teach for 2.5 months.
And I wanted to go, he grew up there, and so I wanted to go and learn the language, get to know some of his friends, and be in his world. So we thought 3 months would be a start. That was our plan, to be there for 3 months.
Yeah.
Sure. Living conditions, we were living in a tent for about 8 months, and then in a 12 by 12 shed for 2 months.
And this tent it's those canvas, almost like parking tents with metal poles, and we just had a roof, and then there was one side we put on, and the rest of it was open, and we had this on top of a roof. It's kind of breezy, so that's why it was nice if there was a neighbor's roof that he had evacuated out of his house, because it was the structure was almost ready to fall. So we said, well, hey, that's a safe.
Rather be above it
than underneath it. So we put our tent up there, and that's where we were there for a while.
So we were basically camping for a year.
Yeah. Living out of Rubbermaids, tubs, suitcases, backpacks. We had outside kitchen. We had a stove, a propane stove. That was outside. We buy your food. You buy your food every day almost. Buy what you need. And so people aren't necessarily living in tents anymore, but they rig up they make these small square boxes out of tarps and wood, and that's where they live. People who don't have any homes at all, they go to parks, they go to empty plots of land, and they just squat, and they make these small little houses in there, make little trenches for sewage, so there's trenches running all through it. And that's where the majority of the people that do not have any land, any homes, maybe renters or people like that, that's where they're living in. And that condition has stayed pretty well constant throughout the whole year. Like, that has not changed much.
Lord, in our blindness, we discover your kindness. Whether valleys or mountain tops, you faint not and never stop, revealing your nature.
September and October, more or less, we started slowly working on building our base back up, our home, our base of operations. And before that, it was homes in the community. It was tearing down in our community, so we kind of left our place just a big, huge pile of rubble. But we have heavy equipment that is still in the making. We have it all purchased. It's all stateside. We just have to get it over to Haiti and work through the government and all their red tape and all that big mess. So we need to have a place where we can store them, more or less like a shop to be able to service them. Coming this summer, we'd like to be able to turn everything back to the community again. Stop focusing on us. Once we get our base of operations up, then it's going out. It's helping rebuild the community, clearing stuff, using the heavy equipment to clear. We have tools, we have nailers, we have air compressors. You know, we have it's a really nice setup that we have for people to just be able to come and bam, you know, be able to build wherever they want. You know? So that's
No, I don't have any reservations, but I did about having the baby there.
Yeah,
And that's why we came home. So I don't. I feel confident. I guess even from being there for a year, it probably did help. He was a little older. He wasn't an infant. Jeremiah wasn't an infant. But I guess we didn't have the housing. I didn't want to have the baby and come back with it and live in a tent. Even with cholera. Neither of us really. We knew it could have been done if it would have had to, but we didn't feel like, since we had the choice, we thought it'd be best to come home to have it. So that's even why we're kind of waiting to see once the baby's born until we feel right about going back. And even when we go back, we won't be living in a tent anymore or shed. The building that he was talking about on the base is very, I would say very. I mean, there's a bathroom inside. It's inside the house, right next to our bedroom. We would have an indoor kitchen, so I wouldn't be quite out on the street as we were with Jeremiah.
As you were, yeah.
Yeah.
Called to be holy, called to be worthy, never reaching the standard raised, but sufficient for me, His grace, and we still keep on.
For me, it's what's in here.
And we pray
The
without ceasing.
the peace. He is faithful in that way. The circumstances were horrible, but knowing how I felt inside I know it was God. Like, because it didn't make any sense. It shouldn't have been there, considering how we were living. Even, and even I thought about it once, even the daily grind of things, how it was no personal space. Absolutely no personal space, except if you would go up on the roof, and during the day it was horribly hot. It wasn't even a place to be. This isn't necessarily, the book of Jonah was huge for me, and how he was obedient, how God used him when he not only didn't feel like it, he resented the area that he was supposed to be in, and God still used that. For me, that just that obedience was something that in a way carried me. It spoke to me, and I knew I didn't have to be feeling passionate about it. I was just called to obey and be real, and it worked. It was more than just a drag. It actually, when you obey, His grace is there. It's not something you have to search for. His grace is just there.
I did not have time to be able to, read my Bible. I didn't have, or even when you do sit down to read your Bible, because of no personal space, nowhere to go, you get interrupted. You get, hey Rodney, there's this up. Okay, cool. But yet to see how He still provided what I needed is huge. Mm-hmm. It's beyond my Christianity.
Feeling His joy and His promises, hearing His voice, all of that was His faithfulness to me. Because if I would have seen it beforehand, I would have said, I can't do it. It would be completely too miserable. I'm going to be not fun to be around. But His ways were they were right. They worked for me. And if people want to come help, want to come land in Haiti, basically workers, a lot of construction workers, would you say?
Skilled in concrete, carpentry, electricians to wire buildings up.
Heavy equipment?
Heavy equipment operators in the future, yeah.
And then as far as the medical need, we're not doing we're not really doing the mobile clinics anymore, but we're going to have the birthing center. So
things to equip a birthing center, medicines to whatever need that is there for that. And then if you do come down, you get a hold of us, and then we'll give you specific needs for like that week, that moment. That works out a lot, because most of our stuff we get it from teams that are coming in. So yeah, just contact us.
Did you say the website?
There's HaitiFamily.org. But we need people more than ever. We need people that are willing to come, give a week, give a week to that. If you can't, send the money, and we'll put it towards a group that can come.